Hello and welcome to Quiz the Broker, my little piece of the World Wide Web, and your chance to ask me about absolutely anything. Well, as long as it's mortgage related. I will warn you, I do have a tendency to waffle, but relax. If I do, Sue will sound that klaxon and keep me on track. Here come the disclaimers. The information provided on the website and in my communication does not constitute financial advice and should not be relied upon as such. I recommend speaking to a qualified mortgage advisor to assess your own individual circumstances before making any decisions. Your home may be repossessed if you do not keep up with repayments on your mortgage. Hello and welcome to the first episode of Quiz the Broker with me, Sean Coleman. Can't wait for the first question. Let's get going. You got it? What could it possibly be? Do I really need a credit report? Simple answers, two simple answers, yes and no. Probably one of the most important things that you have when you're trying to source a mortgage is to have a full understanding of where you are with your credit. And it's important for your lender because they'll do their background checks to look at what outstanding debts you've got to make sure that any mortgage that they are willing to offer is affordable. It's important to your broker so that they understand that when they are submitting a case, they have a full picture. Sometimes the decisions in principle and applications can go awry if your broker's not got full access to what your position is. But probably more important than that, it's more important that you have an understanding of what your credit situation is. I remember actually thinking about it a few times over the past few years. I've had quite a lot of customers who actually don't realise what their position is on the credit. They think, oh my God, I've got this, I've got that, I'm sure I paid that off. In fact, didn't I have an agreement that I'm sure my uncle paid it off for me? Sorry, I'm a waffle there, so sorry, we'll stop. It's important, on a serious note, it's important that you do have a clear understanding about your credit report, but it is only one part of the recipe. Okay, on the other side of the equation, a lot of people get really concerned about their credit score, and I've got my score this and it's going to make a massive difference. To be honest, it varies from lender to lender what your score is, and to be frank, they'll do their own internal credit score anyway, just to make sure it fits affordability. So yeah, credit reports, important, not the be all and end all, but an important part of the recipe. Question 2, what could it possibly be? You got it? Don't look. Like that. My bank says they have offered me the best deal, so why do I need a broker? There you go. Let me throw that away. Okay, so I'm definitely going to get the klaxon in a minute then, because you've started me on probably my most favourite topic to speak about, which is our lovely friends, the banks. It's amazing what short memories people have about bankers. Sue's getting the klaxon ready now. I can see her in the background there. It's coming because I'm going to waffle. And I think I've warned you before, sometimes I do have a tendency to waffle, try and get pulled back. But yeah, back to the question. Banks. My bank has offered me the best deal. On a serious note, I find it an absolute scandal that when you deal with your own bank, you actually sign to say that you have had no advice whatsoever, and you're quite happy with that, and you'll just sign to say that's it, I'll proceed on that basis. That's because when you deal with your bank, you're not actually dealing with somebody who can offer you unbiased advice. The way I always put it in my way when I speak with clients is, if you go to your own bank, you sit down and you say, what's your best deal? And they'll tell you this is the best deal, but they never tell you the end bit. It's the best deal that they can offer. Okay, so if you can imagine, I always say, you go and sit with NatWest or any other lender, you sit down and say, what's your best deal? Because I bank with you, I've been with you for a long time, and they'll tell you what it is. They're not going to tell you whether HSBC or Halifax or Mansfield or another lender down the road has got a better deal, because that's probably a sackable offence. Banks are businesses. They are there to get your business and to earn money from you. There seems to be an innate trust of banks where you think, because I've been with them for a long time, they will give me a great deal. It's probably a great deal for them. It might not be necessarily a great deal for you. The klaxon's getting ready, so I've got to be careful because I'm gonna waffle on. So why would I need a broker? Well, brokers are really useful, especially if they're whole of market. So you've probably heard that phrase before. Whole of market means that your broker has access to mortgages across the whole of the mortgage market, so not tied to any one bank or building society. So what that means is any mortgage they recommend will simply be the lowest sourcing lender, or should be the lowest sourcing lender, based on your circumstances and needs and nothing else. So as I mentioned earlier, the benefit of that is you're just getting the best advice for your circumstances. So do speak to your broker and they can provide you with the best unbiased advice, really. So that's why, in my opinion, you need a broker. And 90% last year of all mortgages in the UK were actually transacted by a broker, believe it or not. So yeah, you do need a broker. And I got through it klaxon free, didn't I? But not quite. Third and final question, this opening episode of Quiz the Broker. Hope you've enjoyed it. I have only managed to get through it so far with one bit of a klaxon at the end of the last question, so hopefully I'll miss the klaxon this time. What's the question? How many pay slips do I need? Well, I don't need any because I'm self-employed. No. So, well, actually, that actually raises quite a valid point, actually. If you're self-employed, you don't actually need pay slips. Okay, so if you're self-employed, a lot of people think if they've got their own limited company that to produce a lot of pay slips in order to get a mortgage, that's incorrect. You don't need to do that. However, for oh god, sorry, I've waffled, haven't I? I've waffled. Sorry. So if you the klaxon gets me. I've gotten the giggles now. So pay slips. So as a general rule, if you are employed in what I would call a standard job, a standard way we get paid monthly, then 3 months. 3 months is the standard. Some lenders are okay with just one pay slip. Some lenders are okay with just a contract of employment for a job you haven't even started yet. So it does depend on your situation. So again, like a lot of the answers to these questions, speak to your broker. It depends on your situation. So if you're a contractor in the construction industry, again, that normally needs about 13 weeks. So it depends on the lender, depends on your situation. But as a general rule, 3 months is probably about right, really.